The Volkswagen 1600 TL was part of the Type 3 family introduced in 1961. The TL or touring limousine variant was a fastback model offering a more stylish and practical alternative to the traditional Beetle. It appears in Need for Speed 2 as a traffic vehicle. The 1963 Beetle 1200 was originally designed in 1931 by Ferdinand Porsche and Zundap as the people's car and was nicknamed Bug or Käfer in German. It was powered by a 1.2-liter air-cooled flat-4 engine producing around 40 horsepower. It appears in Need for Speed No Limits. The 1968 Beetle 1200 received a significant suspension upgrade, transitioning from the swing axle rear suspension to the more advanced independent rear suspension system. It appears in Need for Speed Nitro.
Got the 1500cc air-cooled motor. And this thing is just a breeze to drive. I had it going 50-55 miles an hour going down the highway here. Just a very predictable car, super easy to drive. Back in the day, this was called the people's car. They just tried to build something inexpensive, reliable, easy to work on.
The 1963 Beetle sunroof sedan featured a sliding fabric sunroof, allowing open-air driving while retaining the iconic Beetle styling. With its rounded fenders, sloping hood, and distinctive rear engine placement, it became a cultural icon. Its association with the counterculture movement of the 60s and 70s added to its enduring charm. It appears in Need for Speed Payback, Heat, and Unbound. The 1973 Beetle 1303, also known as the Super Beetle, had a redesigned front suspension with McPherson struts, a larger curved windshield, elephant foot-style rear lights, and increased trunk space. It appears as a traffic vehicle in Need for Speed 2. The 2012 Beetle 2.0 TDI A5 featured a 2-liter turbocharged diesel engine producing 140 horsepower and provided fuel efficiency with an EPA rating of up to 41 miles per gallon on the highway. The Beetle TDI was part of Volkswagen's diesel lineup affected by the Dieselgate scandal in 2015. It appears in Need for Speed Edge. Launched in 1976, the Mark I Volkswagen Golf GTI, or Grand Turisme Injection, is widely regarded as the first hot hatchback. It featured a 1.6-liter fuel-injected engine producing 110 horsepower, weighing just over 800 kilograms, or 1,764 pounds. The Mark I Golf was sold in the United States as the Volkswagen Rabbit GTI. Its popularity led Volkswagen to continue production till 1983. By then, over 450,000 units had been sold, far exceeding original expectations. It appears in Need for Speed World, Shift 2 Unleashed, The Run, Need for Speed 2015, Payback, Edge, Heat, and Unbound. The 2003 Mark IV Golf GTI was the first GTI to feature a turbocharged engine. The 1.8-liter turbo inline-4 engine produced 150 horsepower. It appears in Need for Speed Underground 2. Alongside the turbocharged 1.8T, the Mark IV GTI was also available with a naturally aspirated 2-liter inline-4 engine. This engine produced 115 horsepower and provided better fuel efficiency compared to the turbocharged version, with an EPA rating of around 25 miles per gallon combined. It appears in Need for Speed Underground 1 and Underground Rivals. Introduced in 2004, the Mark V Golf GTI featured a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine producing 197 horsepower. It introduced a new independent rear suspension system and offered Volkswagen's direct shift gearbox as an option. The Mark V GTI received numerous accolades including Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year. It appears in Need for Speed Most Wanted 510, Carbon, Carbon on the City, Pro Street, Undercover, Shift, and Shift 2 Unleashed. The 2006 Mark V Golf R32 featured a 3.2-liter VR6 engine producing 247 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque, going 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 6.2 seconds, making it one of the fastest Golfs of its time. It came equipped with Volkswagen's 4-motion all-wheel drive system and was the first Volkswagen to feature the direct shift gearbox dual-clutch transmission. It appears in Need for Speed Carbon, Pro Street, Undercover, World, and Edge. Launched in 2013, the Mark VII Golf GTI was built on Volkswagen's MQB platform, which provided significant weight savings and improved structural rigidity. It received widespread acclaim from the automotive journalists, winning numerous awards such as the 2015 North American Car of the Year. It appears in Need for Speed No Limits and Edge. The Volkswagen Golf GTI Club Sport was introduced in 2016 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the GTI. It featured a 2-liter turbocharged engine producing 261 horsepower with an overboost function increasing output to 290 horsepower for short bursts. It appears in Need for Speed Payback, Heat, and Unbound. Since its introduction in 1979, The Volkswagen Jetta has become one of the brand's most successful models worldwide, with over 17.5 million units sold across 7 generations. Volkswagen has tailored the Jetta to meet the needs of different markets. For example, the US version of the Jetta is larger compared to the European version, reflecting American preferences for roomier and more comfortable sedans. The Jetta appears in the Need for Speed as a traffic car. Unveiled at the 2008 Geneva Motor Show, the Volkswagen Scirocco marked the revival of the iconic Scirocco nameplate after a 16-year hiatus. It was offered with a 1.4-liter TSI producing 160 horsepower and a 2-liter TSI with 200 horsepower. It won several awards including Top Gear's Car of the Year in 2008. It appears in Need for Speed Undercover, Shift, World, and Shift 2 Unleashed. The 2010 Scirocco R featured a 2-liter turbocharged engine producing 265 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, going 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.8 seconds, making it one of the fastest front-wheel drive cars of its time. The Scirocco R was not offered in the US market, making it a sought-after model in Europe and other regions. It appears in Need for Speed The Run and Edge. The 2017 Scirocco R was the final iteration of the Scirocco lineup. It retained the 2-liter turbocharged engine and featured minor improvements including a refined suspension setup, larger air intakes, LED headlights, new bumpers, LED taillights, and distinctive R badging. It appears in Need for Speed No Limits. The Volkswagen Type 2, also known as the microbus, combi, or transporter, was introduced in 1950 and quickly became an icon of the counterculture movement of the 60s and 70s. The Type 2 had an incredibly long production span, with its successor, the T2, continued production till 2013. It appears in Need for Speed Nitro. The 1985 Volkswagen Type 2 T3 was also known as the Vanagon in North America. Production of the T3 ended in 1992, making the last rear-engined Volkswagen van. Its successor, the T4, adopted a front-engine, front-wheel drive layout. The T3 appears in Need for Speed 2 as a traffic vehicle.